I'm Ron Fournier, and this is my son Tyler.
Hello.
Tyler was brilliant, much smarter than his mom and dad, certainly much smarter than his dad. We knew he was having trouble making friends.
I was like 3.
Yeah.
My family was playing a trivia game. I was playing in the summer with Thomas the Tank Engine, and my sister runs in and says, "What's the largest rodent?" And she was gonna say "Is it A, B, or C?" I just immediately just said capybara, and she's like, "Oh."
And all the adults were out in the other room playing the game, and none of us had any idea. And she comes in with the answer from the toddler. His mom realizing that was one thing we had in common. Tyler's always loved history. I cover the presidency. So she said, get on the road with him so you can spend more time with him and understand him better, and so that he can take the things that we're now going to have taught to him. Social skills and executive functioning and being a part of a society outside of himself. This is Cooper Union, which folks probably recognize as a place where President Lincoln came to basically launch his presidential campaign. And the real neat thing that we see that what Tyler's pointing to, and he just stood behind, by the way, that's Lincoln's lectern. Abraham Lincoln stood behind there and gave a speech that changed the world and set in course the events that saved the country. What was your favorite trip? I don't think I've ever asked.
It had to be Sagamore Hill.
I'll never forget standing in front of the one exhibit at Sagamore Hill, Teddy Roosevelt's home.
In Sagamore Hill, it's basically the same as Theodore Roosevelt had it. So basically, animal trophies everywhere.
The first of the field trips was I took him to this White House Christmas party. Presidents traditionally have it for the media. And the book winds up actually with the chapters on Bush and Clinton.
There's been several times when, in many groups and classes, when they ask us, write down 2 things that are true about you and 3, 2 things that are false, 2 things that are true about you and 1 thing that isn't. And I always write down, I've met 3 presidents, and every time they guess that. It's I have. They always guess that, and it's there's no way. And it's no, I've met 3. We met Clinton at his presidential library. He has an apartment on top of it. I remember we were walking through it, and we were gonna have this interview. Basically, I was gonna interview him. Basically, we just asked each other questions. And I remember seeing this picture of the 2 polar bears fighting. And I was like, that is a cool picture. How hard is it to get a picture like that? And he's like, oh, you like it? And he's like, he picks it up. It turns out it's a book, and gives it to me. He's like, oh, you can have it.
Who else on the face of this earth besides Tyler Fournier and Bill Clinton would care about a picture of 2 polar bears fighting and know the significance of it?
Oh, he gave me a book of Theodore Roosevelt's letters. That was awesome.
To his children, and it was an original copy. I know how hard it is for him to just have a conversation, and he walked in and he talked to Bill Clinton, one of the smartest people you ever want to know.
He talked to me. I just
You were scared about walking in there, and he did it. Bush was I describe it in the book, like an oil drill, just boom, 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 asking question after question after question, really short, really probing, and you could tell he was listening, because at one time he asked Tyler, do you like sports? And Tyler said no, and then he asked a bunch of more questions. I asked him something about Mike Ilitch and the Detroit Tigers, and he gives me a look like, would you shut up? Didn't you just hear your son say he doesn't like sports? And then on the way out, President Bush kind of grabbed me, looked me in the eyes, almost like a presidential directive, I was a staffer, and said, love that boy. And that's the title of the book. And the book is a broad exploration of the expectations that we have for our kids as parents, where they come from, which are unique to our times, and how they shape, in some cases misshape our kids. There's a myth that these kids aren't empathetic. And I've learned that that's BS.
We just don't really show it.
A truly happy kid is someone who is not just having pleasure in their life, but is finding goodness in their life. And Tyler is, when you read the book, you see he's the epitome of that. Do you have any problems with the book?
No, not really. I think it makes you come a bit too wise.
We'll work on that. He dumbed it down quite a bit for me.
Oh yeah. It's fun with me, but I don't find it a big deal that I should be talking about it every 5 seconds. Blue eyes, I don't talk about I have blue eyes. I have autism, that's it.
In my wacky head, I was assuming the president was saying, love him despite his idiosyncrasies, despite the fact that he's different. And through the course of the book, I come to the realization that I love this boy because of what makes him different.
The best thing about this book is now I'm famous.
You've been waiting this whole interview to do that, haven't you?
I have been waiting. I've been waiting all day. I am not taking these off.